And I'm back. Don't worry, you're not hallucinating from all the YouTube and Netflix that you've watched over the last 3 lockdowns. God, has it been that many? Yeah. It's actually me. I haven't uploaded anything for 2.5 years since the trailer conversion video, but loads of stuff's been going on in that time. I've traded army surplus at events, I've written a book, I've had bacteria set up in my spine, re-landscaped our back garden into like homegrown heaven, been made a trustee of a medieval castle and organised my first event. So as you can see, there's been quite a lot going on. The girls are all fine. Cara's all about the art now. She's constantly drawing, loves photography and has a flair for both. Lucy seems to be able to master any instrument she picks up and has decided she wants to go into psychology. So she'll soon be able to tell me the deep-rooted psychological reasons why I love playing with knives and fire in the woods so much. Catherine has a new job and is studying for a degree in occupational therapy. And she's in her 2nd year of 3, so she's absorbing knowledge like a sponge at the moment. Talented bunch of ladies. Our newest addition, Amy, is just awesome. A proper character. She's really settled in now, and it's like having your own personal comedy act in the house. She's mad as a bag of snakes. When I uploaded my last video in April 2018, I was just getting ready to start trading at events, but I've recently decided to knock that on the head. It's only ever really been an extension to my hobby anyway, and it's never brought in enough to make a proper living, so between work and other projects, it's the thing that's got to go. I'll still sell a bit of my own stuff here and there to finance kit and videos, but that's it. In December 2018 I published my first book, and I guess you'd call it a retelling of a popular mythical creature. I'm not going to be saying the title or marketing it on here, it's going to be completely separate to what I do on YouTube, but it's all part of the news of what I've been up to. So, first one is a trilogy. First one starts quite fluffy and then it moves into vivisection and all-out war in the last one, so it does get quite dark as it goes along. I've done a couple of low-key book events at a festival and a local school. But I'm self-published, so I'm not going to be buying a 500-acre woodland with a lake just yet, although that would be nice. In October of 2019 I discovered that I'd had some nasty little bacteria stealth camping in my lower spine for a few months. I got stretchered out of my house in agony twice, 24 hours and a load of drugs apart, then spent a week in hospital on oral morphine, unable to walk or even poo because of the pain. I did get threatened with tennis ball halves on my Zimmer frame feet like the old fella from Up though.
Balls? You want a ball?
Oh.
Huh?
Yes, I do. I do ever so want the ball.
Go get it.
Oh boy, I will get it. And then
So that was nice. I also earned the nickname My Little Crack Whore from Catherine, so that was awesome. I had a biopsy under general anaesthetic and I'd fought everything off in the end, but it took a good few months for all the vertebrae to heal from the infection and for all the pain to go. Apparently,
I'm a medical marvel.
I was furloughed for the whole of the first lockdown, so once I was on the mend, I took the opportunity to sort out our back garden and we all went a bit plant mad. The old boards from the bridge in the park near us became raised beds. We rebuilt a stone wall, put a new fence up, laid new turf and then spent the spring and summer eating salads from our own garden. Between the homegrown veg, foraging and game, we've all gone a bit Hugh Fearnley-Whittingstall. One of the first places that we visited when we moved to Shropshire was a Welsh border castle called Whittington Castle near Oswestry. It's a community-run charity, so I do some voluntary repair and maintenance work there. And a few months ago I got asked if I'd like to be a trustee. We've traded at some events there, made some lovely staff and trader friends, and I started to get the feeling it'd make an awesome venue for an outdoorsy event. I put the idea to the board of trustees there, and now I'm the bloke behind the Shropshire Outdoor Show. It's a bushcraft survival and outdoor pursuits event, so anything from friction fire workshops to hot air ballooning, anything that's outdoorsy. Our first show was originally scheduled for July 2020, but it was so close to coming out of the first lockdown that we had to change to our contingency dates in August. Even so, we still got hammered by COVID because some of our traders and demonstrators couldn't do the new dates, and a lot of businesses were just not ready to trade after being shut down for so long. It made for a bit of a nightmare, even though we had COVID measures in place. The good news is some of our traders that couldn't do the new dates have rolled their plots over to the 2021 show. Some who did are coming back, and I've booked loads of new ones, so 2021 is already looking much better. We got a sponsor for the first show who was very understanding about the trouble that COVID was causing, to the point where they're sponsoring us again this year. So I'd like to give a big shout out to Callum and the team of Outdoor Adventure Supplies for their continued support. The end of summer's a bit changeable in Shropshire, so I decided to change the dates to May for 2021. But the only dates available at the castle were the end of the month, so and that tied up with the Bushcraft show's rescheduled dates. So I ended up having to book the same weekend. Now, with their success and notoriety, I'm pretty sure even if they know that I exist, that doesn't even concern them in the slightest. But in the meantime, I think they've cancelled that May date and they're talking about rescheduling it. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but that was the last information I read. In future years, when everything's more stable and everything's not being cancelled, rescheduled and juggled quite so much, I'll be able to be more careful about not booking the same weekend as other events, but this year is what it is. If you want to check the show out, here's the website, which I'll put at the end of the video too, and there's a link in the video description. There's loads of info on there, including details of who we've got coming and how to get involved if you want to trade or demonstrate there. If you've got a free weekend, come along, it'd be cool to see some familiar faces. So there you have it. There's been quite a bit going on, but now we're all caught up. Time to get back to this outdoorsy business. First off, welcome back to my quarry permission. Some of you will have seen it before, but I've been doing a bit of tidying up here recently and sorting out to make it more suitable for long-term use. I'll take you back a few days to a little bit of clearance that I did. I've been very lazy not actually turning it into a more permanent camp, but this is the year that happens. So that was stage one, breaking ground. Moving everything around a bit, seeing where we were at, what had to be done. Now on to stage two. And there it is after session two, all nicely levelled off. I'm absolutely knackered. It's only 1.5 foot, but that's 1.5 foot of compacted, mature woodland, rooty hell. So nice semi-permanent camp there. There's over there nice bit of seating. Probably going to stick the fire in a metal tray, but on a rock there. Loads of surface area around the top edge there for stuff, and a hammock between that tree and that one with you know, the usual floating tent thing, army bivvy, shelter sheets, all that malarkey. That's going to be a really nice little setup. To give it a little bit of extra windproofing, I'm going to do a little stockade of uprights there as a windbreak, and probably the same there, so just to the side of either hammock tree. I've also discovered and dug out a little tool as well, firewood breaker. It was all filled up with mulch and leaf litter and twigs and everything, so I dug it out and I'm going to use it as firewood prep. Just whack your thinner lengths of timber in there and snap them off to size, and hopefully save a bit of sawing. Stage 3 will be digging out this corner here and using all the soil in there to bulk up the slope there. So all the stuff that I took out of here I just throw over here, so when you walk on the loose stuff you just sink into it. So I'm going to use all the soil from that corner in there. Maybe I'll build some sort of table or something in the corner there for food prep or campcraft, don't know yet. Stage 3 coming up. And stage 3. And that's that. You can see why I wanted a bit of level ground, can't you? It's a beautiful bit of woodland, especially spring summer, but yeah, it is a bit slopey, and that is the camera level, so you can see just how much of a slope it is, which is alright when you're in a hammock, but it's just nice to have level ground to work in, isn't it? I had a bit of a lazy boy lay-in because it's Saturday today, so I got here quite late and I'm losing the light, so all I've done is the ground prep. I haven't managed to get the windbreak done between that tree and the rock, and that tree and the rock. So I think what I'm going to do is call that stage 3 complete. I'll just get around to the windbreaks on another camp. But at least now I've got a nice level area, semi-permanent camp for upcoming videos and projects. No doubt I'll see you in here soon. And here we are. I'll give you a quick blast around my setup. You might have noticed it's changed very slightly. The design's essentially the same, but I've swapped to an MTP shelter sheet and olive green sleet sheets. I know MTP's a bit Marmite, but I've got to admit I am a fan of the muted colours. Over a period of time I've been swapping out anything that I had that was DPM to olive, because a lot of what I used was olive anyway, like the hammock itself and the hammock chair that Paul from Jedi Night of the Woods gave me many moons ago. The latest replacements are the draw cord bags that I use for smaller kit. The multi-fuel stove, the hammock, camp gloves, tooling and the bungee and rock peg bags. The only thing left to change now is a small draw cord bag for my meths burner. The only things I'm keeping camo are the shelter sheet and 2 jackets. An issue Gore-Tex smock, this is a petroleum version with the neoprene cuffs, and this windproof one, which was a present from your friend of mine, Steph at Talifdernan. Thanks mate, nice one. I'll be doing a little review on this at some stage, but with a bit of a tendencies twist on it. The shelter goes together the same way. The sheet's bungeed between the trees, guide out at 1, 2 and 3 points along the front and back edges. The sleet sheet D-rings fit over the loops on the top ridge. The centre sleet sheet bungee goes through the carabiner and just clips on. And the corner bungees feed through the hand grabs on the shelter sheet and clip to tied in loops on the guy lines. Simples. The reason I love this setup so much is because it's so flexible. You can have it completely closed up for bad weather with the ends blocked off. You can add poles for a bit of extra headroom and visibility, flip one side over entirely in good weather, or even lower the whole thing right down into the ground to turn it into a ground shelter using trees or poles, depending on your flora or terrain. I'm trying out a new addition with it for the first time tonight, an underquill. I've done away with the inflatable mat because although they're great insulation, I find them very difficult to keep in a comfortable position in a hammock, so I'm giving this a whirl instead. Construction wise, I'm well impressed. The fabric's ripstop, the filling feels nice and thick and substantial, and all the stress points in the centre here and at the ends are reinforced stitching. Even the metal attachment clips seem to be good quality and not that horrible cheap alley stuff you can get sometimes. The real test is whether I get a cold back, but from the feel of it I doubt that. I'll let you know in the morning if it's as warm as I hope, but with luck this will be the new setup from now on. Home sweet temporary home. I had my first go at leatherwork over the first lockdown. My hatchet had the DPM webbing mask I made for it ages ago, which was sturdy enough, but it was DPM, so I had to go. My folding saw never had a sheath. The Gerber had a basic out the box nylon thing, and I never got round to making one for the talisman that Todd made me, so I watched a few YouTube vids and knocked up a set of covers. I already had a black leather pouch for the Leatherman and a sheet of black leather hanging about, so it just made sense to finish them all off in the same colour. The leather's a bit thin, but that wasn't a problem because I don't do a lot of belt kit except for the Gerber and the Leatherman, and I only wanted it to cover the blades for a bit of protection. Just to cap it all off, I got me a really nice leather riggers belt for Christmas from the girls. This has always been one of my favourite camp jobs. I love all camping, but if there's not wood prep and a fire, it's just not the same. It started early on in childhood, so I guess I'm brainwashed by now. Me and mates used to go out and cook breakfast on the marshes in Essex, and we had a den in an old shed with a fire pit outside. While we were clearing out the area for the fire, we found a full fox skeleton and nailed the skull to the shed door. It was a proper den. I'm a bit out of practice, but as you can see, feather sticking isn't all about effort, it's about angle and, there you go, precision. Lovely feather stick, just not attached to a stick. It's a very fine line between getting a nice curl and a separate lump like that falling off. But takes a spark or a match really well, and when you do a good one, you get on a bit of a roll, very satisfying. I think that might be my farmer. Here's another way that might come in handy for people that have trouble holding the stick still enough to get a steady curl. Find yourself a stationary object, tree trunk, old quarry, you know, whatever you've got to hand, and keeping your hands behind the blade, obviously, always cutting away from yourself. Do it like that. Just keep an even pressure on the stick between yourself, like a belt buckle or whatever, and the stationary object, and you'll be alright. Not too shoddy. There you go. Practice might not make perfect, but at least it makes better. Right, time to get some munch on. I think I've earned it. For dinner tonight I've got lean diced beef stew with mushroom and onion and North stock pots and a bit of lemon and coriander couscous. It's wicked stuff that. You just put hot water in it and it swells up. It's really nice. Anyone that's seen me having breakfast in the woods before will know all about egg and chorizo wraps. The wraps are still in the backpack, and they're for breakfast. And for lunch tomorrow I'm living the dream with some Rat Pack tomato pasta salad. And just for luxuries I've also got a couple of snacks, nuts and a cherry flapjack. Ooh, beefy goodness. Just sitting in a hammock in the woods, having a bro, waiting for my beef stew to cook. God, I've missed this. Here's another new bit of kit I'm trying out tonight. It's a Cree InfoPower USB chargeable head torch, but it's got a nice little feature. It's already turned on that feature, but if you do this, you wave your hand in front of it, it comes on and off. I had a medium military sleeping bag and it was always a bit tight on the toes, just a little bit too short, so I sold that one and got myself a large, and the deal that I got on eBay was a large one of those, and it came with a free one of these, brand new. All the usual features like bright, low, strobe, etc. So yeah, snap that up and I've got myself a new head torch, but with a jazzy little feature. Whoops. Not that jazzy if I break it. There you go. And here's the new filming light, like the one Pete from Maverick Outdoors has. 96 LEDs, oh yes. Nighty night, folks. that's better. The new underquilt was everything I hoped for. I was toasty warm all night long. But now I'm up and it's about 5 degrees. I'm on the chilly side, so I'm going to get some firewood prepped, get breakfast on, get myself warmed up. 25 quid off eBay. Bargain. First one of the day's always welcome, isn't it? It's very cold this morning. My own fault for coming out in February, isn't it? Oh yes. Just a ticket. Oh yeah. Yum yum. I still have some clearance and permission to do, so I'm going to make good use of my time on this trip and give it a bit of TLC. Just look at it. A little oasis away from it all. This is the area I'm going to clear today. It's the tapered end of the wood. It's quite narrow and had a lot of new planting done a while ago, so there's loads of sapling sheaths still to tidy up and plenty of wooden stakes left over for firewood too. The good thing is it'll be quick to clear and quite an obvious improvement when it's done. So let's get on with it then. Well, that's me, all packed up. I've had a lovely couple of days and a night in between, and I'm off back to the fireplace now. See you on the next trip.